So welcome to Cooking Fun with Joanna. I am Joanna, your host, and I am a holistic nutrition coach specializing in arthritis, pain, and inflammation. So if you are looking to get yourself out of pain and feeling better about yourself and feeling better in the skin that you're in, then it's time to reach out to me at Joanna. And I am
because you know Ralph's cousin has rheumatoid arthritis and she's into healthy cooking and eating. So
yeah, healthy cooking and eating makes such a huge difference on how you feel, and especially with arthritis. I mean,
and
I think arthritis in my hip. I had a hip replacement in this one. This one, I'm like, you know what? The body can heal. So we're going to, and the anti-inflammatory diet is just one of those parts. You got to do the physical stuff. You got to do the emotional release. You got to do the burden release, the connect with your passion, put joy in your life. So many layers of what it takes to allow the body to heal. So, but that's my specialty because I've gone through it. I can help other people go through it. So today's class for Cooking Fun, we are making tamarind chicken with zucchini Parmesan Rosemary Zucchini Fries. So we're actually going to start with the zucchini fries, but I'm just going to give you
okay.
I'm going to give you the rundown because we're actually putting the zucchini fries into the oven. So while that's cooking, then we can actually do the prep for the other part of the chicken with the tamarind. Okay. Because that's not going to take as long. And then
let me preheat
sitting there waiting for something to cook is kind of boring. So,
so let me preheat the oven. What do I need?
You're going to preheat the oven to 425. Yes.
425. Okay.
425. Thank you for telling me because that's exactly what I need to do. And my oven runs hot, so I'm just putting it to 400. But I got these 2 zucchini from the farmer's market, so I'm going to use my 2 zucchinis because, you know, these are going to be really good as leftovers too. And there's no way I could possibly eat 2 zucchinis in one meal. But we're going to cut these up into matchsticks. And you're going to need three shallow bowls, 1 for the eggs, 1 for the breadcrumbs, and 1 for, I don't remember what the last one is, but we'll figure that one out. But you need three shallow bowls, so kind of like these soup bowls. I'm just gonna use this one humongous duck egg. It's something new, but duck eggs are supposedly easier to digest than chicken eggs. So I saw them in the grocery store, and I'm going to try this whopper of a egg. So you might need 2 eggs. I'm just going to use 1 whopper.
Well, I just did 3 egg whites into 1 bowl. So
well, you can use the whole egg. You don't even have to do the 1 egg white.
Well, that was what the recipe said.
You can do just egg whites too. So we're gonna end up cutting the zucchini into matchsticks, putting it into the what are we putting it into? So we're gonna put the we're gonna put the zucchini matchsticks into flour, and I'm gonna use chickpea flour. Then we're gonna put those into the eggs, and then we take those and put them into the breadcrumbs. Okay. And then we lay them out onto the cooking sheet.
So I got 2 of these.
Perfect. So then we're gonna just take a nice big piece of foil.
Can you get the aluminum foil out, honey? What, we're gonna put it on a big,
and I've got a nice old cooking pan. So I'm gonna line that with foil. If you happen to have a rack, that would be better because that'll make it a little bit more crispy. I happen to have an extra one for my toaster oven.
What's a rack?
So I'm gonna just lay that on top of there. But that's what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the
okay. Put the foil and then a rack on top.
So we're gonna need the egg, 1/3 cup of flour, and I'm using chickpea flour instead of wheat flour because wheat and me are not friends. Then we're gonna do the 3 large egg whites. I'm gonna use just the whole egg. Maybe I'll just use a
cup of the breadcrumbs.
1 cup of breadcrumbs and 1/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese. Then 2 teaspoons of chopped rosemary. I have it already dried. You could use the fresh one if you want, but my intention is I buy the fresh and I let it dry out so that then it's a little bit more potent and easier to work with when it's dry. And then some salt and pepper, and we're going to cut them into matchsticks. So that's gonna be the first thing. And then we'll kind of go over into the next section. So I'm gonna kind of lean my camera, so you can see what the heck I'm doing. But we're gonna take the zucchini. You're
Oh,
gonna
should
use
I
a
put a
big
cup of
butcher
bread?
knife.
Okay,
Preferably, you want it to be sharp. Just don't get your fingers in the way. But you're gonna cut the end off. That's the easy part, right? And then you're
Right.
gonna kind of eyeball it into about 2.5 inch sections. And then you can just get rid of this tail. But what you're gonna do is now cut it into matchsticks. So what I typically do is I'll put it on its side, and then I hold it from the top, because you don't want to stick it this way, otherwise you're gonna cut your finger. So you're gonna hold it from the top and just slice down into like 1/2 inch slices. Then you turn it to the side, and then you cut crosswise, so then you've got these matchsticks. So probably should be doing this in order, and I'm completely doing it out of order. So I'm gonna put the cup of flour into my one pot bowl, because you're gonna put the zucchini in that first.
and what's that, the
As we
panko?
go along. Then you're gonna separate that egg, and this is how I learned to do it. So I'm gonna crack the shell, and then you just keep feeding it over the edge until you just have
What do you think about this?
egg whites. And then you can use that egg white for some, or the yellow for something else.
You should set your one by separate the egg, and now she is.
So that I can use it for something else tomorrow. So what we're gonna do is you can either take a whisker or just a fork. I happen to have both. But it might be easy enough just to take the fork, and you're gonna whisk the eggs to whip them up a little bit.
Where's your egg?
That's too good. It's in this bowl.
They don't have to be whipped, but you want to have them a little bit foamy.
You want to whisk it?
And if you need to add a little bit of water, you can do that too.
Why would I need to add water?
To make it more foamy. It actually adds a little bit more. Here, I'm gonna add a teeny bit of water. Let me go get some, and we'll notice a difference. There is filtered water in my tap.
You can do that. Same thing.
So I'm just gonna put a teaspoon of water in, and then I'm gonna whisk it
Oh, hers is
more.
getting like white and frothy.
But it makes it a little bit more fluffy. I think that's how you make omelets more fluffy too. You add a little bit of water. So it should be nice and foamy like this. And then you just leave that fork in that particular bowl. And if you set it up correctly, you'll have one bowl that is the flour, one bowl that is the egg whites, and then the last one.
But
is
my
gonna
egg
be,
whites still look a
breadcrumbs.
little bit. Oh, you know what?
Why we do this first, because this seems to be the one that takes the longest. So you're gonna put a 1/2 cup of breadcrumbs
I got a little yellow.
into the last bowl. So you're gonna take
slow
the
down.
cut up zucchini, and you're going to, I think this is where you might want a spoon and a fork, and just kind of combine them.
Okay, now, did you put them in the egg white first?
No, I'm putting it in the flour first,
Oh, you're putting them in the flour first.
then egg whites, then breadcrumbs, straight to the pan.
Flour.
A 1/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese.
You're putting that in with the breadcrumbs,
Yeah.
and you're putting the
Which did I
rosemary
go
into that
and
as
break
well.
those
Yeah, you need
You're
flour.
putting 2 teaspoons.
No, I'm using panko. I'm using panko instead of
Into
flour.
the breadcrumbs.
Grated rosemary. Do I chop up the rosemary right now?
If you've got dried rosemary, you can actually just pinch it in your hands and fingers and break it up.
No,
that
I
way.
have fresh rosemary.
You have fresh rosemary, then you're gonna want to
Okay.
chop it up. I'll show you
Can I
how to do
interrupt
that
for a minute?
too, because
Go
I
ahead,
actually have
Ralphie, has a question.
Are we supposed to be putting them in flour before we
You're
put
putting-
them in the bread?
putting
No,
the
we put
rosemary
them
and
in
the
the egg white
breadcrumbs
first.
into you're putting the rosemary and the Parmesan cheese into the breadcrumbs. So that's the third
I
step.
have a question.
Yes,
Are we supposed to be putting flour on our sticks before we put them in the breadcrumbs?
yes,
That's what I thought.
yes.
Holly, you need flour.
No,
Yes, so
I'm
you're
not
putting
using
you're
flour,
putting the
I'm
matchsticks
using
into the
panko.
You're
flour,
not listening,
then into
Holly.
the egg whites, then
It's
into
a
the breadcrumbs.
three-step process.
No.
And in the breadcrumbs, you're putting in the
Joanna?
rosemary, the Parmesan cheese, and the
Joanna?
breadcrumbs.
Joanna,
Yes.
I use panko instead of flour. Is that okay?
No, you're using.
No, panko is the last step.
Oh, well, I didn't get flour.
I'm trying to tell you, you're not listening.
Because
Yeah,
flour
there's
wasn't
flour.
on the recipe.
The first step is flour. So you need flour, then the egg whites,
But
then
flour's
the
not in
breadcrumbs
the list
is
of
the last one. And
ingredients.
into the breadcrumbs, you're putting the Parmesan cheese and the rosemary. If you have fresh rosemary, you're just gonna take your big
We're
knife
still
and
back
just
at
chop it
flour.
into small pieces.
Joanna,
Yes,
You gotta slow down. You gotta get
the
the flour
flour
in
was
here.
not on my list of ingredients.
You
that's
have
okay.
flour.
I'm sure you have flour.
I do not,
Are you
actually.
sure you don't have flour?
I actually do not have flour.
Do you have almond flour or anything like that?
No, I don't. It's
Come on.
not on
You
the
need
list.
flour.
It'll be fine. You'll just do it without, and you'll just put it into the egg whites, and then into the breadcrumbs. It'll all
So
be
all I
fine.
got's the panko, because there's no flour in the list.
You sure you don't have flour?
All right, that's all right. It's all gonna work out just
It'll
grand.
work out fine, Ralphie. We have no flour.
That's
Yeah,
just
it's
fine.
a bit crispy.
So you're gonna put your zucchini into the egg whites, toss them in there, and then put them into the breadcrumbs.
Bring me a cookie sheet over.
And this is gonna be the part that takes the longest. For sure, for sure. So then you're gonna just cover those sticks with the breadcrumbs. And then you're going to
Did you put them in the?
lay them out onto the
Well, you missed.
onto your foil lined tray. Got it?
Almost. Give me half a second. I'm gonna put in a little salt and pepper. Would you grind some pepper in the bowl?
I think I'm gonna put my salt and pepper on at the very end. All right, so I'm gonna do the
We're
second batch
interested in the
here.
pepper.
I'm gonna do my second batch here and cover up my my zucchini sticks in the chickpea flour. And then I'm gonna transfer those
How many of these
to
zucchini did
the
you cut up?
egg whites.
How many did you cut up?
This is totally playing with your food, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And then you gotta fish, you know, make sure that they're covered enough with the egg whites. Put that into the other bowl. These things get slippery after a little while, you know? Then your utensils get all covered up with stuff. But it's all
Oh, yeah, they
good.
get gunk.
It's all good, right? We're just gonna keep going And at this
Oh,
rate,
okay.
it's like, okay, I'll just do one zucchini and then I'll do the rest tomorrow. All right. So now I'm gonna blend it all up in the flour. And however well it gets coated is
What is she
however
doing?
well it
Look
gets
at
coated.
what she's doing. Tell me if she's doing what I'm doing.
I'm doing what you're doing, I'm sure. You probably can't even, well, I think you can kind of see what I'm doing.
Yeah, we can
So-
see.
Right now I'm just putting the, right now I'm putting the breadcrumbs on.
What, breadcrumbs? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
You
doing
should do
the, I'm
that
doing the
process.
second batch and putting the breadcrumbs on. And then laying them out on my tray. And these two just got stuck together. Well, this one's really goopy. I don't know what happened with that one. All right. I think I'm gonna need more breadcrumbs. And if I put more breadcrumbs, that means I need more Parmesan cheese and more rosemary. Right?
Yep.
That's what happens when you have to fill it up.
Good.
I'm just gonna pinch my rosemary, my dried rosemary, as well as I can and stick it in. All right, that's just gonna have to do. So right now I have like half a zucchini on the tray.
Can you show her my tray of zucchini?
The tray look good?
How am I doing? Do you see my zucchinis?
No, I see the,
Oh, you know what? I gotta get rid of this background.
no, I think you have to get rid of the backdrop because
I
all
gotta get
all
rid
I
of the
see
background.
all I see is the, your beautiful Golden Gate
I
Bridge.
gotta figure out how to get rid of the background.
You have to go to video settings, next to your video, next to where it says video and stop video. And then,
I don't see a word
and then
that says,
click on,
You even
Okay.
can't see the zucchini?
right,
can't see what
until
you're
I get
doing
rid of
because
this
of the
background.
backdrop. Because the
I have to get
backdrop,
rid of the
the
background.
metal somehow takes
Yeah.
over.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that's, modern technology is great until it's not really working the way you want it to.
When we use it to look at each other, not usually. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Oh, good, that looks awesome.
Is that good?
Yep,
And now this goes in the oven?
and then that's gonna go in the oven. I think we might have to turn the oven down to like 350, but let me check. No, we're gonna keep it at that 400, 425. And then, we're gonna bake it for 25 minutes.
So slip them on in there and bake them for
Slip
25?
them in there. And I'm just gonna finish this one batch here so that I can
Okay.
keep up with you.
Oh, I thought I was keeping up with you.
No, I'm behind. Because this part takes a long time, you know? It's literally like playing with your food, trying to get each one of these sticks to be coated, you know?
Uh-huh.
So it's just a little bit of effort. And I'm sure it'll all be worth it, but it's just a little effort, that's all. So now I'm just gonna lay mine out on the tray. And I think I got these two stuck together again. And some are really thick coated and some are not. And that's just how it goes, right?
Yep. Oh, yours look good too.
Yeah, so they do look good like this. So this is a new technique. I haven't made them like this before.
I just ate a raw one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like. I forgot to salt and pepper it, but I'm gonna do that real quick.
I could do a little pepper on top.
Yeah, little pepper.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think the cheese itself has enough salt. And the rosemary has enough flavor. I don't know if you really need all that. Ooh, that thing is hot. All right, so So that's in. I'm gonna put the timer on for 20 minutes because then we can at least see what it's doing, and we can put all these bowls aside. We are not gonna be using them unless we make more later.
So put these in the oven now?
Yes, I would put them in, and I have one that didn't make it, so I guess I'm just gonna have to eat it.
20 minutes.
You know, when you get zucchini from a farm and it's nice and fresh, it tastes pretty darn good.
Yeah,
You don't even have to put anything on it. So I only used really a quarter of a zucchini, and I got a whole tray full of zucchini. So I'm just gonna put these aside too, because I don't need those right now. So we're just gonna leave those as is. We might need to turn them over in 10 or 12 minutes. But I think I'm just gonna leave them. Because I think turning them over when they're darn hot is gonna be painful. Right?
what do you mean painful?
Because they're gonna be so hot, how are you gonna turn them? Are you gonna burn your finger?
Right.
That's what I mean. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna, for the tamarind chicken, we're gonna cut half an onion. If you have a gas stove, you don't have to turn it on yet, but if you have an electric stove, you wanna turn that on. And you need a 10 to 12 inch frying pan. But we're gonna cut the onions into half moons. And they're gonna be about 1/4 inch half moons. So first you're gonna take that big knife, cut it in half, cut off the one end, leave the tail. I call this the tail. Leave that on, but you're gonna peel the first or sometimes even the second 2 layers of onion off. And you want to make sure that transparent, there seems to be like that transparent sheath. You want that off, otherwise it's really hard to cut. So now you're gonna take that sharp knife, again, that butcher knife, and you're just going to cut a 1/4 inch. You see how there are half moons?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're gonna turn your pan on as soon as I finish cutting this. And this is where you can either hold on to that tail, but my tail isn't such a tail anymore. But I dig in my 2 fingernails, one of the thumb and one of my middle finger, so I can hold the onion in place so I can cut that last slice. But if it gets too close, it's not worth it. Just toss that piece away.
Okay, and now
Pan on to medium
right in
high
the
heat.
oil in the skillet?
Oil on the skillet, you're putting 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or you could do 1 teaspoon of ghee, which is what I make my own. So
Well,
I'm putting a
Using
teaspoon of-
butter today, so.
and then I am putting in a tablespoon or 2 of olive oil. We're gonna let
How
that
much-
heat up.
How much butter?
Pardon me?
I only have butter.
That's fine, then just, you can use a little bit of butter just for some flavor. And if you don't have butter, then you can just use olive oil. But you're gonna make sure, you wanna make sure that it all covers the whole pan. And let that heat up a little bit before we throw in the onions.
Okay, I'm doing my half moons now.
You're doing what?
My half moons now, I'm a little behind.
Okay. I'm waiting for my pan to heat up. And you might be too, because if I don't let the pan heat up, and this time I'm not using my non-stick one, then I might get it might all stick to the bottom of the pan, which might not be such a good thing. But what we're gonna do,
So tell me when to put the onion in.
you're putting the onion in now.
All right, I still have to cut my second half. Hold on.
You only have, well, I have a humongous onion, so I'm only doing 1/2. And I've got one, like I said, I got 1 humongous onion. And if it's 1 big onion, you basically end up having like a good, almost a cup of onions.
Yeah,
And onions are actually really good for the digestive system. They feed
It's
some of the really
cellulose,
good,
right?
flora in the gut.
I don't know, yeah.
Who knew that, right? So a lot of people wonder, why do we need to eat onions? They actually are anti-inflammatory and they help to feed the good guts, the good flora and the good bugs in your belly. And they give you a nice flavor too. So the alliums are anti-inflammatory. So that's something that you definitely want to include in most of your meals. If you wanted to, you could also add some turmeric root. And I'm gonna actually add some turmeric root into mine, just because I have turmeric root, because that's part of what I do all the time is.
Well, I did get fresh ginger. Should I put ginger in?
You could, no, ginger's gonna give the wrong kind of flavor, especially with the tamarind. And then we're gonna be using ancho chili pepper. So the ginger, well, you could try it, but I think it's gonna compete with the tamarind.
Can you open that?
But it definitely, yeah, you know what? You try the ginger because I think it.
Okay, so what are you cutting up right now?
All right, so I basically took an inch of that turmeric, and like Holly's doing, you could use ginger as well.
Oh, you're cutting turmeric.
But I just cut it up into
Not on the list.
small pieces, and I'm gonna throw that in as well.
Which is also not on the list.
So I'm gonna heat that up and let it cook in there. But I find that the turmeric is really good in that regard because it really doesn't add a lot of flavor. But the ginger is really quite spicy, but that actually might be good with the tamarind and with the ancho chili pepper. And I really like the ancho chili pepper because it's
Ancho, okay,
flavor.
now what am I put that in? What are you putting
We're
this?
putting that at the end. 'Cause
At
we
the
have to
end.
cook the chicken first. So we're gonna let those onions caramelize. We're gonna take a chicken breast. And we're gonna cut it into like 3/4 inch slices.
Okay. The chicken does, I got chicken does. The chicken does 4.
So I'm just gonna do one chicken breast because I got big chicken breasts. Again, I got a big onion, a big chicken breast. But there's only me over here, so if I do another one.
Well,
You're just
I'm
gonna have too much
cooking
food.
extra. I figure I'll bring some to my mother tomorrow.
That would be perfect. She'll love it.
Yeah.
She'll love you that much more. So I'm gonna move this over so that you can see what I'm doing here. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here or not, but this is my pot cooking. And I'm going to,
So what's in there right now? Your turmeric and your onion?
so I'm just cooking the onions. I'm just gonna stir the onions. And because I put the turmeric in my onions are turning golden. Now, like turmeric colors everything golden. Kind of fun, but then you don't know if it's cooked or not cooked. But we're not going to caramelize them. We're just going to let them kind of saute a little bit, and in another minute or so, we're going to put in the chicken into this into the onions. I'm gonna go, no, I'm not gonna wash my hands yet because I still have to move the chicken off the cutting board. So what you're gonna do is kind of move the onions to the side of your pan so that you can put the chicken in the middle. So see how I move the onions to the side? Now you're gonna lay these pieces of chicken on the side. I didn't do a very good job of cutting mine. They keep coming off in pieces of 2. Now I'm gonna go wash my hands. They're all slimy with chicken.
Okay, you wanna take the lid off of the and carry this over
This is where you're going to put some salt and pepper onto your chicken.
Come on, come on.
So that's step number one. You're gonna put some salt and pepper on that chicken. And pepper is actually gonna be really good to go to help with
No, put
absorption of the anti-inflammatory properties and the curcumin that's in the
I'm washing my
Human.
hands. Have a sec.
what?
I'm washing my hands.
All right. Now the next thing is you're still gonna
Okay,
put
Put pepper in and then what?
salt and pepper, and then now you're gonna put some of the ancho pepper on top of the chicken.
Like about how much?
You're basically putting
Ancho chili-
it over the whole thing.
The ancho chili?
The ancho chili powder, yeah,
All right, you gotta give me a second. I have to open up this container.
no problem.
It's a new container.
I was there the last, like 2 classes ago. So you're gonna wait till the
So
chicken,
how much chili am I putting in?
you're putting in about a teaspoon
About a whole
and
teaspoon?
sprinkling it over evenly over the chicken. There should
Okay.
be about a teaspoon. But if you look at the chicken, you can see how it's starting to get white on the edges. That's what you're looking for, but I want that white to come around the all the way to the top before I flip it over. Got that?
Would you repeat that?
Yes, I will repeat that. So you're looking for the white, see how as the chicken cooks, it becomes white, no longer pink. I'm gonna wait till this white kind of comes to the upper edge. So it's almost like on the edges before I flip it over. I'm gonna move that one over though. Because that one can lay flat. So like some of them are ready to flip and others are not. So I'm waiting for the others that are not before I flip the chicken. And that'll also kind of caramelize the chicken so it has a little bit more flavor. We like flavor. Then when you
Okay,
flip it
I'm
over,
adding a teaspoon of the ancho chili now.
you're adding the ancho chili now, perfect. We have 8 more minutes for the zucchini. Oh, look at that. I'm gonna turn my oven down. I'm gonna turn it to 350 because mine are actually quite, I'm gonna actually turn mine down to 300 because mine are burning almost too much.
I have a timer for you. I set
So I'm gonna turn my oven down to 250 just to keep mine warm so that they'll cook on the inside, but I don't want them to be charbroiled zucchini sticks. But they're gonna be too hot for me to flip over. So I'm just gonna leave them. But you wanna check your zucchini fries because if it's too hot,
Ralph's checking
turn the oven
now.
down. What?
Ralph's checking.
Okay. So now my chicken has that white edge. See how it's around the edges and it's like
Yeah.
it's like a border. Now
Okay.
it's ready to flip. So I'm gonna use and then they're nice and browned on that one side too, which gives it a nice flavor. And like I said, because I put the turmeric in here, everything on my plate is gonna look different than yours because it's all gonna be yellowed.
How much turmeric?
I put an inch of turmeric in.
A what?
Oh, you're doing turmeric powder?
Fried turmeric.
You do dried turmeric, do like a half a teaspoon
What'd you say?
and sprinkle that over everything. I actually did the turmeric. Oh,
I think I've got turmeric up here.
you know, anytime you can add more anti-inflammatory properties, that's good. So we're gonna let this cook for another 3 or 4 minutes. And then we're gonna put the tamarind, and lime juice in. And my suggestion is you're gonna take a little cup and you're gonna pour in a half a teaspoon of lime juice. And then 1 teaspoon of tamarind paste.
So I had to look up, I couldn't find tamarind paste.
Okay, what did you find in place of it?
It said,
And you could probably use like a
It
date
said
puree.
lime. And,
You could just use something like plums or prunes or something like that, because it's a sweet paste. But we're mixing it with the lime juice, and then we're gonna pour it into this chicken. Okay? I'm gonna give it 1 more minute. We've got 4 more minutes for the zucchini. And I'm a terribly impatient cook, because I want to just pour it in now. But as soon as you pour liquid into something that's cooking, it's almost like it stops the cooking process. So I want to make sure that that chicken is pretty well cooked.
can you open
That's
this?
liquid. Pardon me? So what we could do is we can cheat.
You took that off the stove?
And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna check to see that how cooked the chicken is. And the chicken still needs it's still uncooked. So I'm just gonna leave it on this side for a little bit longer. And in 1 minute, we're gonna add
What rice vinegar that you got for your,
all right, 30 more seconds. All right, forget the 30 more seconds. I'm just pouring my lime and tamarind in together and pouring it into the pan. And then you're gonna try to mix it all
Oh,
together.
putting the tamarind paste in now?
I put the tamarind paste with lime juice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're pouring
Awesome.
that in and you're just gonna stir it all together.
Oh my God, it's so awesome.
Now it's nice and red, right? So we're just gonna let this simmer here. And it might be a good idea to actually put a lid on it so that it doesn't all dry out. And I've got that 1 onion wanted to just stay connected. So I'm gonna actually put a cover on it.
Okay, cover.
Yep, I'm gonna cover it. That'll speed up some of the cooking. And then the next thing is we got 2 minutes before we take the zucchini sticks out of the oven. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move there's 1 minute. 1 minute till the unveiling. Whoops,
Well, what about all those other ingredients?
what other ingredients?
Coriander, cumin.
That's in there too? We don't have coriander and cumin. If you want to add those in, you can, but they're not.
Okay, so the recipe that is on
Did I
your,
wrote on there, it has that on there?
the recipe that's on your thing, it says, do I put this on the zucchini fries? Cumin powder, coriander powder, garlic, curry, vegetable broth.
No, that's, huh,
Coconut.
that's left over from last week's recipe.
Oh, that's left over from last week's recipe.
Yeah, those are from last week's recipe. I apologize.
Oh, well, I had no way of knowing that. That's why
No, I didn't know I messed up.
I went to 2 grocery stores to get those
My
ingredients.
human
Okay.
error.
Oh, so our chicken is like essentially done.
Our chicken is essentially done, exactly.
Do we want to add a little heat?
If you want to add heat, you can, but by adding the ginger, you added some heat.
Uh-huh.
So these are my zucchini fries.
Oh, yours are done? How's ours looking, Ralphie?
I didn't check it to see if they're, but they
Brown
look,
Potholders.
see? I'm gonna grab one off of here to see if it's actually, yeah, it's definitely, because it's flimsy.
Yeah, they look good. They look good.
They do look good.
So, did you?
So you're gonna just grab a few of those, throw them on your plates. You can turn off the chicken. I don't think I could be a chef because I'm not very good at laying things out on my plate so that it looks decorative. I've already come to that conclusion that I would do terrible as a chef. My presentation stinks. But
So we put zucchini fries on the plate with the chicken and the onions.
right,
Okay, we're done.
so we're done. Yeah, this is it. And look at that, it's all done in 45 minutes.
That's
And now-
awesome.
And now because it's all stinking hot too, we have to wait a couple minutes before we can eat it because it's too hot. And otherwise we're gonna have to like run over to your house and give you some clove oil to numb the burnt tongue that you have. And we don't want any burnt tongue, so we just have to wait a minute for everything to cool off. But this is what mine looks like. What's yours look like?
Awesome, awesome. Let me put mine on a plate. I'll show you mine.
It's like, yeah, if you show me yours, I'll show you mine.
There you go.
That's how it works, right?
Absolutely.
So now I'm gonna change I'm gonna pin you so that you can be on the side and you can show me what yours looks like. And then I
Okay,
can
give me
take a picture of it. And then once you take a picture of it, then I think it might be cool enough, but I don't know if you can see, yeah, you can see the steam coming off of mine. It's not ready for me to eat unless I want a burnt tongue. And that would be a surefire way of getting me not to eat dinner. But this looks too good. It actually, it smells really good too. It's, how come I can't see your video? Do you have your plate ready?
Yep. Hold on. Here it is.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm just gonna take a picture. So are you gonna try it?
I beg your pardon?
I said, are you gonna try it?
Absolutely.
All right, let's try it. I don't know if to try the chicken first or the zucchini fry. I think I'm gonna do the chicken first. One piece of onion, and I got a stringy piece of onion. Blow on it to make it cool. That is really tasty.
Kinda hot.
The chicken is really, really good. I haven't gotten to the zucchini yet. And
Very
the
good.
flavors are very, very complimentary. It's like
It's a
sweet and
Parmesan.
tangy. It's sweet and tangy,
Mm-hmm.
but kind of exotic. Those rosemary Parmesan zucchini fries, that really works. And what
Yeah,
I ended up doing in mine, I did chickpea flour as my base. So
Okay.
that's anti-inflammatory and it's also gluten-free.
Right?
And this is something I tried today for the first time, and they're called nut crumbs.
Okay.
So I got the one that has, what's it say, pistachios, cashews, and almonds. And that's what
Where did you find them nut crumbs?
today I looked in Wegmans.
Huh.
In their gluten-free section, and everything else had brown rice in it. And I'm like, I can't do brown rice. That's as inflammatory or worse for me than for a lot of people than wheat. So I tried the nut ones, and it comes in a different one too, that is slightly different combination of nuts, but they're nut crumbs, a breadcrumb alternative by a company called Apple Foods, Appel Foods.
Okay.
Yep.
So Appel Foods, I now have breadcrumbs that I can use. And I've never seen them before except for today. So-
Okay.
So in 2 weeks, we're gonna be making fish.
Okay, what kind?
Baked snapper with fennel and
Nice.
veggies. And I haven't decided what veggies yet, but it's gonna be baked red snapper with fennel bulb, the actual bulb, because most people don't know what to do with that. But it's really good when it's roasted
Ralph
and
loves
baked.
that.
Love fennel.
Yeah, so we're gonna be
Yeah.
using fennel with, I haven't, like I said, I haven't decided exactly what vegetables I'm gonna add to it, but it's gonna be with fennel and other veggies. So that's gonna be our treat in 2 weeks.
Oh, this is really good. I really, really like it.
Yeah,
Really good.
I think your mom will like it too.
I like the chicken with the zucchini.
Mm-hmm. It's a nice combination, and then the crunchiness of the zucchini actually
Yeah.
is nice too. So
Uh-huh.
I'm so happy you joined us.
Thank you.
Zucchini's great.
He likes it.
Join us again for Cooking Fun with Joanna. If you have any questions or want to post your comments below, you can reach me at joanna@n-im.net or www.nutritioninmotion.net.
Okay,
Have a
hon.
wonderful evening.
Did you take a screen cap or something?